Yes, March the 25th, 2009. March 25th, 2009, A8 of the National Post. No time for warning before taser, Mountie says. And he also says, it all happened really quick, he told the Inquiry. But he'd also made an earlier statement that he was continuously monitoring Mr. Dziekanski's breathing and that he was capable of applying first aid, but he wasn't qualified to do so. He had earlier testified that Mr. Dziekanski was swinging a stapler at him, and now he says, I was mistaken, but I was telling the truth. Well, nobody saw or anyone else ever gave evidence that a stapler was swung at anybody. And the videotape clearly displays that as the Mounties arrive, he's not in an aggressive position. He may have done something earlier to a computer, but he was doing nothing aggressive that I could see on the videotape. But all videotape aside, we have a problem with the police force in Western Canada. It's a police force that has emphasized multiculturalism and affirmative action hiring. It has maintained a lowering of standards to the point now where all the authority of the police remains with the RCMP, but the capability of exercising it carefully, exercising it with respect for the citizen, seems to be drastically diminished. There is, of course, going to be more and more pressure, and situations will arise where danger exists, but the traditional manner of restraint which the RCMP used to demonstrate seems to be sadly lacking. I'm thinking of the case of Ian Bush up in Vanderhoof, shot in the back of the head by an RCMP officer shortly after being arrested for finding him in possession of an open beer bottle at a curling rink. This type of behavior discourages those who believe the RCMP were the proud police force of Western Canada. We have to now start thinking about a provincial police force for each province, because the national police force, owned, operated, and organized by people like Mr. Zaccardelli, is not something that we can rely on for the careful preservation of peace, order, and good government in Western Canada. If the RCMP want to maintain their status as a provincial police force in each of the Western provinces, they should start thinking about higher standards of training. This example of Robert Dziekanski has reinforced the growing perception that the RCMP is not what it used to be. There are good men and women in it, but the training that's being evident from those who've done these types of things is a disgrace to the RCMP and a reason for Western Canada to start thinking about how we should free the West and build a better alternative.